The Book Channel Online.
Welcome to the Book Channel Online. I'm Stephanie Harris Byers. I'm your host. We are at the Harlem Fine Arts Festival in New York. And I am here with LaShon Ormond. Hi, LaShon.
Good morning.
Robin's Big Day. Tell me about Robin's Big Day.
Sure. Robin's Big Day is a book about a little girl who decides that she wants to be an entrepreneur. She wants to start her own business. So she goes through the community talking to a businessman that she knows that she sees on her way to school every morning. And he gives her information about how to become an entrepreneur. And she seeks out the help from her family and her godmother to make this happen. And you just see her journey from having this idea of everyone always telling her to get a job when she asks for money to I'm going to start my own business and what that means and the responsibilities for being your own boss.
How personal is that story for you?
This story is pretty personal, not from the sense of becoming an entrepreneur, but in the fact that Robin is inspired by a very good friend of mine who was having some challenging times, and so I wanted to cheer her up, and so this was originally a book that was just meant to be a personal gift to her, and then she gave me permission to make it a public book.
What an homage. That is really terrific. How were you inspired as a writer?
I am inspired because my goal in life is to give voice to young women and girls. So everything that I do is driven from that point of view. I am one of 5 sisters. I have 5 nieces and I have a daughter. So we have many, many girls in our family. And so I want to make sure that every girl that I encounter has space to raise her voice, to empower herself to be able to do whatever it is that she wants to do.
How long did it take you to conceive and get this book to print?
Robin came about, again, as a present to Robin from June 26th of last year, but I had some other projects in progress, so it took me actually until about 2 weeks ago to get through the editing and proofing of this particular book, because my illustrator is actually in Cape Town, South Africa, so we do a lot of work back and forth, and he also has other projects that he's working on.
That's amazing. Cape Town, how did you find this illustrator in Cape Town, South Africa?
I was actually filling in for a colleague who had to go out on personal leave, and I got an intern as a part of that, filling in for that colleague. And I was looking for an illustrator for the very first book that I published, The Worm Who Wanted No Wings. And she was like, I have an illustrator friend. He's from Cape Town, and I thought that meant he was from Cape Town, but actually in New York. But he was actually in Cape Town. He has been phenomenal. I literally send him words, and he sends me back exact what I was thinking that I would want.
That's amazing. So does he illustrate all your books?
He has illustrated all 8 and now 9 of the 9th book is on the way.
So 9th book. Okay, wait a minute. This is prolific. I mean, we're talking about 9 books in how many years?
9 books in almost 4 years.
Did you hear that?
Almost
9 books in 4 years. You make me feel like a slacker. Okay, I mean, really, that is amazing. What's your goal to get this book out and have people really embrace?
Not just this book, but all of the books. My goal is to instill a passion for reading in children. So I started with the younger children's books because I wanted it to be a collaboration between parents and children. So the first 7 books are part of a series called Read to Me, Please. And the goal is spend some time with your children, 15 or 20 minutes a day in this very fast-paced society in which we're in right now. It's imperative that our kids come back to this very simple and basic thing, but something that I consider a gift. Reading is a gift that we can all embrace. Reading is a gift that we can all give. Here's this opportunity for me to spend time with my child in a very simple way. And here's an opportunity for my child to learn from me and with me.
You're a self-publisher, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about that process, because self-publishing is not an easy task.
For me, the most difficult part was, again, finding the illustrator, because I think children's books, that's a critical component. It's like the artwork coming to life, bringing the story to life, telling the story. For the child who can't read just yet, they can see the pictures, and the pictures can give them the story that I'm giving them words to. So for me, that was the most difficult part in the self-publishing process, because I've used Amazon and CreateSpace. Once Frank and I were able to collaborate on the story and the pictures, the rest of the part kind of fell in place. And then, of course, there's the financial piece. And I have another full-time job. So that's the financial backing for me. I am my own financial backer in that way.
would you continue in the self-publishing arena, or would you forego that to go with a big publisher? Just curious.
I think for now I'm very protective of my work, and I'm very protective of who's a part of that work, because for me the key is I want it to remain that we are empowering our people to put the pictures on the page and to write the words, and that I am empowering girls. And so I don't want that to shift. So I think I have somewhat of a fear that if I release to a big publisher that I lose some of that ability.
You started with children's books. Do you aspire to continue up the realm of, eventually get to adult?
There's a list of books that I've had in my head since about 2004. So there's a series now called Telling Her Story, and Robin's Big Day is the first of that series. And then there's a couple of books that I want to do for middle school children called Middle School Sucks Sometimes, and Middle School Sucks for Moms too. So that's like an opportunity for a mom and daughter group to kind of come together and talk about what it means to go from being an elementary school student to becoming a middle school student, and all the changes that your daughter or son may go through, but also all the changes that parents have to go through with beginning to let go more.
Do you have a book in there, I'm getting ready to go to college and high school sucks for mom?
I don't, but the very first book that I wrote for a young lady that was at my church, she was about to graduate from high school, and she asked me to write a book for her, and that was her going away present, was 25 things we wish we had known before we went to college. And it was women in our church who wrote the things down. Like, everybody gave me one idea, and I kind of wrote a paragraph or a couple of pages about that.
I love it. I love it. So I can put a book request in, and then I can get a book back? Is that how this works? Can I put my name on it too?
Absolutely. I believe in giving credit where credit is due.
I know an opportunity when I see one.
Ultimately, I want to write the book called Raising Girls, It Still Takes a Village. And I think that's the platform for me to speak more to adults about, what's going on in this world, and why learning is so important, and why there's such a push for girls in technology, and why that can't just be the only thing, because the girls have so many other talents, and we don't want to, belittle your talent because it's not ed tech, or it's not technology, it's not computers, it's not science, it's not math. There's so many disciplines in this world that we don't want to limit ourselves while we're trying to expand ourselves.
LaShon, all I can say is go girl. I'm inspired by your work and your dedication. Thank you so much for joining us today here at the Book Channel Online. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
The Book Channel Online.